Welcome to Celebrate a Sister podcast. I'm your host, Emma Walkinshaw. I'm a transformational coach. I'm also the founder of Embody Me program and the creator of 21 Minutes of Morning Magic. You may also find me on the yoga mat leading yoga sessions and also running retreats here in Australia and internationally. Here on the podcast, I bring you some pretty incredible guests. We talk all things self-belief, body acceptance, personal development, outdated beauty standards, and we also call BS on the toxic diet culture, accepting the beautiful bodies we were born into, letting go of all the beliefs, and raising our self-awareness. I also come to you from time to time with a little solo episode, a little Life According to Emma moment. I'm so glad you're here. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's podcast of Celebrate a Sister. Today, my dear friend, my co-host of our retreat, Wholehearted Retreats, Yogi Loui, is here. So right now, we are sitting in a hotel in India. This is our 16th day. Yes. 16th day on a retreat. We've hosted 11 days with beautiful women in India. And wow, we're in reflection mode now, aren't we, really?
No.
Massive reflection. So I do want to jump straight in, my dear friend Yogi Loui. Firstly, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. God, I'm going to start crying already and we're bloody 2 minutes in. First minute in. Sharing this with you and co-hosting has been exceptional. You know, we were chatting this morning and said, God, we made it. We did it and we're still mates and we're actually booking another one for this time next year. So it's been a huge success. But honestly, thank you. Like this has been such lots of connection, laughter. We've had 1,000 belly laughs and we did it. We actually set out to create an incredible experience for women and we did it. So paying us a little bit of kudos this morning and thank you, my friend.
Oh, Em. I think the experience, to sum it up, has been joy, and doing life with you is so joyful. And we've just laughed so much. We've had the biggest belly laughs. And just to share, you know, it's been definitely a soul-enriching time. India does that to you.
Yeah.
And I can't believe, like we had that discussion, we've been with each other. We're on our 16th day and it just feels like a weekend. Like we're very much in sync with each other and
we are.
Yeah, it's been an incredible experience, life-changing.
So now we've loved on each other. We're now going to get into the nuts and bolts and tell you a little bit about why India. So Yogi Loui, for me, I had actually been to India in 2016 and I made a vow to myself that I would return to India with women one day back in 2016. So for you, my darling, why India?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I've done a lot of study in yoga and I'm on that journey. I've doing my master's in yoga and meditation. So obviously coming to the motherland was the next step. And I think for me personally as well, you know, I've got a connection with India, with my birth father starting up a orphanage in India and they spent over a decade here. So I think I've always wanted to come here and make that connection as well. So for me, it had that personal level, and I can really appreciate that now.
Yeah.
Why they loved India, and just to come to the motherland India and explore her spirit. You know, if you are doing yoga studies, it is an obvious next step to be here.
And our women, even our women who, we had a range of different women. Some were keen practicing yogis and some weren't.
but there was something for everyone. And each place we went, the history is so deep here. The culture and the history is so deep here and so enriched. And I guess, I can't help but do the comparison to the Western world. And, simple things like why India. I love learning about the way they do life. And we've learned some great things along the way, even just, and, I've made no secret that I've had a struggle with my body image for quite some time. And for me, looking at their relationship with food and their relationship with their bodies and the way women dress and present themselves has been very refreshing for me.
And I mean, food's on their national flag, so the colour green, so it goes orange, white, green. Food is the green's the symbol of food because it's such an important part of their culture here.
And even our guide, we had a guide with us the whole time, and he was talking about even the ritual of food, and he gave just an interesting little story that made us laugh. He said, if my wife's in the kitchen cooking and he walks in with shoes on, she says, get out, you must take your shoes off in the kitchen. And just that respect to them,
yes,
around food and preparation.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of ritual-based day-to-day rituals in India, and they have a practice.
Yeah.
Like preparing food's a ritual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, just they do their own arti every day where they're, the blessing of the gods, they're blessing their energy. So day-to-day life, it's a practice. They're little rituals, and it includes with food as well.
And even I think about, in the Western world, we throw around a lot on manifesting, and we got to manifest this and create this. But the thing with the Indian culture, what we've experienced, when they do these rituals, they are pre-paving and setting their intention for each segment of their day. How many times I myself have eaten in the car, I have eaten while multitasking. That doesn't happen here.
Wow.
They sit and they bless and they pre-pave the way. And we talk about this manifestation. I want to manifest and I want to create my life. Well, it starts in slowing down.
But isn't that one of the contrasts of India? Because on face value, you see all this chaos of energy, the people, the traffic, it's organised. But if you were just to take it on face value, it's all in chaos. But in fact, India time is slow.
Yeah.
And that's why they make the time for the important rituals in life.
Yeah. And that's been one of the really interesting things for me. And I had a full-on meltdown moment. So me and my impatientness and I guess my very Western world way of life is I'm wanting everything done, really quick and fast. And Louise and I had a very funny day this day, and I was we resigned to the fact, but after my little meltdown, that there is a thing such as Indian time, and it's not in our time. So every time we would say, oh, we're going to be there in 2 hours, it would be like 4 hours.
Or think, Emma, because we were leading 11 women, and we're all women from Western worlds, we've got careers, we're used to, yes, especially mothers, we're all used to being in time.
Yeah.
And when someone suggests to you a hike is 2 hours long and it ends up being 5, it is really interesting watching our reactions around the time of year, because we worked out that the timing we would make this is the
suggested time.
It ended up being a suggestion. And as a group, we all struggled with that.
Yeah.
But when you're the leader of the group, you feel a responsibility. So that's all that was wrong this day.
I felt like I was letting people down because I'd said that this was going to be the time and this was the timing of the day. And then I realised, I was like to Louise, that's it. They're lying to us. Nothing's going to plan. Louise says they're not lying. It's okay. Everything's on track. But it's funny that I couldn't let go until that point where you just said, come on, it's a suggested time, calm down. Yeah, because in the Western world, we run to a very tight time schedule. That's so relationship with time for me, letting go of expectations.
Yeah.
Has been a massive one.
A great uncoiling. It's really quite lovely, actually, when you let go of time. And everything does happen, and everything exceeds your expectation around that. It still happens.
Yeah, it still happens.
Just not in our craziness, rigid way that we operate at home.
Yeah. Now, what's been some of the misconceptions of India? Because before we came and communicating to all of the women, of course, we were responsible for these women and communicating to them about the safety of India, around the hygiene, around food and illness and all those things. So, Lou, what has been the biggest misconception for you around your first trip to India?
Well, I think my first aid kit says it all. I think I spent about $1,000 on inoculations and a first aid kit. And truly, we haven't been sick once. I just came, when you say you're going to India to someone, typically I got a negative response. Oh, you're going to India. Well, don't do this, don't do that. Watch out for this. There was so many. So I was really quite aware, and I wanted to prepare for worst case scenarios. But seriously, misconceptions, safety.
Yeah.
We never felt unsafe once.
Not once.
The water, in all the hotels we stayed, they said it's safe to drink tap water because it's all treated now in the hotels. We had bottled water and fair supply of bottled water everywhere. We stopped, when we did our big trip days, we stopped at roadhouses which had beautiful food. The food's been incredible. We've had no sickness. Delhi belly was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was going to lose 10 kilos, but I think I might have gained it because the food's so delicious.
Yeah. And, the other misconception for me was, and we got, because we arrived into Delhi, Louise and I arrived early, but we pretty much arrived and the group started and we had to get on a train the next morning to Rishikesh. And it was a 7-hour train ride and the women were like, oh, what about the toilets? I cannot believe the cleanliness of toilets in India. I call them the toilet goddesses. When you walk in, there is actually someone in there because this is also how they make their money. So you will go to the toilet. There is Western toilet and there is also the Indian toilet. So you have got a Western toilet that you can go to. They will give you toilet paper. There's toilet paper in there, or you can take in your tissues. But every toilet, they were so clean. So even the trepidation of the women in the morning going, go to the bathroom now because we will be on a train and you can't go to the bathroom, just not true.
Yeah.
Just not true. Even the food on the train was wonderful.
Beautiful.
Apart from Yogi Loui, we got our beautiful vegetarian meal on the train. And Louise said, I'm going to be adventurous like you am. I'm going to eat things. And she had this little packet and it said on it, herb. Big writing herbal. So she ripped open that little packet and she sprinkled it over a lovely vegetarian meal on the peas. And she started eating, and then we find out that the little packet was in actual fact,
it said underneath herbal mouth freshener. I didn't read the mouth, so I ended up having minted vegetables. It was quite work.
She had a mouth freshener in with a bit of vegetables, which was fun. But we had lots of fun little experiences. So misconceptions.
Yeah. So when you say you're going to India and people give you all the negativity, it's just not true. India will blow your mind, and actually the opulence has blown my mind. We came into Delhi, it's such a beautiful green space.
Yeah.
And you think poverty's in your face, but it's really not. And I think perhaps since COVID, the government made big changes when COVID happened. So every person has a bank account now and every person gets food.
Yeah, they get 5 kilos of rice.
There might have been a lot. If people travelled 10 years ago, I think it could be different.
Yeah. But now it's incredibly safe for us as women to travel. The other great thing, India's obviously quite progressive. There's lots of things happening they were telling us about women who travel on the train, and the very first cart of the train, that the forward direction of the train is just a women's only carriage. And the guide that we had made a joke and said they call it the Barbie box, and we laughed. But that women can travel in there safe. And if a man is to go into there, he gets fined and goes into jail for 3 months.
Yeah, so there's a lot of progression happening in India, and it is around progressing women.
Yeah.
Actually, they're very accepting of everyone here. It doesn't matter what religion, what gender. They are they're very open to and respectful.
They are.
To everyone. Inclusion's amazing.
Yeah. A quick little story when Yogi, or maybe you should tell it, the story with Emily and the spices. Because just around the kindness and the joy.
Yeah, I mean, another misconception, you think you have to carry your things close to you and have them onto the front and always keeping your bag safe. Well, we were travelling through Old Delhi on a rickshaw, and it was quite bumpy on one of the roads, and Em's bag fell down. She just purchased $50 worth of spices. We went crazy in a spice shop, and it shook off, and we didn't realise the bag had dropped. And all of a sudden there's all this yelling, and the rickshaw stops, and we don't know what's happening, and the rider gets off and runs down this way, and anyway, comes back and he says, "Here's your bag." And a guy who'd been following us was on a moped and saw it drop, picked it up and followed us and yelled out and gave it back. And he gave us a big wave on the way past. That was in Old Delhi. So we were in a locals place. We were with thousands of people.
It was very crowded.
Very congested. And that's what happens in India. That is India.
Yeah. Because people are people. Yes, I'm sure there is bad things that happen in India. There's bad things that happen on the Gold Coast. There's everywhere. You can be anywhere. But there's also a lot of good things that happen. So I feel that we have totally been surprised and delighted by the love and respect that we've received here in India, which has been, particularly as an all-women group, we've had the most wonderful time. Now, how did you feel when we arrived in Rishikesh, Lou? Tell me about your experience, because Rishikesh, for a lot of the women, was a massive highlight. There's just so many highlights, but there was particularly, so tell me about your
I think
feelings.
We had a spectacular hotel setting.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mother Ganga, she features in a lot of yoga tradition stories too, but to see the Ganges for the first time, the healing waters of the Ganges, that colour. So a lot of us walked out and had a thunderbolt to the heart moment and, overwhelmed with tears. It's spectacular. That river, it has so much power, and you can't help but be overwhelmed by its energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's spectacular, and you have the foothills of the Himalayas in the background. That will stay with a lot of our women in their hearts for a long time.
And we were able to, it was full moon while we're there. So full moon over the Ganges. The colour during the day is this amazing aqua azure colour, like incredibly beautiful. And we were in this location, like Lou said, our yoga room looked right over the Ganges. We then participated in another powerful ceremony. Now, am I going to say it right? Arti. Arti. Which is like with nothing we hadn't experienced before. And I think one of the women was talking and she gave a great little depiction. She said, there was the bells and the smoking. There was the singing, the chanting and the dancing. There was like the reflection. Excuse me. The reflection, it was like nothing we'd ever seen before, was it? Yeah. It was quite a incredible ceremony, but the joy was palpable in the air.
Yeah.
Like it was next level.
Yes, because it, again, this you were just immersed and drawn into this deep ritual of arti, which is basically, you're letting all your woes go with Mother Ganga in the ceremony. And And then I think because it was Holly too, but there was this joyful celebration at the end, and the chanting and the singing and the locals, like we were just one. We were all just dancing. It was like a rave party. And just the joy, like we all came out so pumped.
It was amazing.
And as a lady said, we haven't even been drinking.
Yeah. And because Rishikesh is meat-free and alcohol-free.
Yes.
So even though this joy and the chanting and the dancing and the singing and the whole ritual, and then we let go, because the idea, like Lou said, is to let go of the darkness to bring in more light. We all float down the Ganges, this beautiful little flower and flame, and then you get a blessing. And just the whole thing was just such, and there was hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
But even the way we peacefully moved in and moved out of that, even though we're amongst all these people, there's still the organised chaos. Yeah. It still flowed.
And, we had so many awe-inspiring moments in our 11 days together, but one of our women reflected amongst this crowd and noise and, energy. There was a young boy who was putting bindis on the offering, like
on the
crowd, and she looked into this boy's eyes and she said it just went straight to her heart, and she just was overwhelmed with tears. She had a soul connection with this dear boy who was blessing her, and she said, if you talk about spirituality, there was a moment. So there's many of those moments.
Yeah,
wasn't there?
So many moments. It was very, very joyful. All of the women had their little moments of like little breakthroughs and transformation. I think that's what travel does. But I feel like India, and I've said it before on the podcast, there's a difference between a holiday and a difference between travel. This retreat is a travelling retreat. It's not a holiday. We're not laying around hanging out. It's travel, it's experience. And we've all seen sights. What was that?
Sights, sound, sensations.
That is what India is. I've also enjoyed the colour that is here. And look, last day I've got a black dress on, and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm wearing black, because I've loved so much colour here in India. Like I highlight the colours.
Dare not wear black in India.
No. It is, although I'm about to fly out, so I'll
flying home today.
Yeah,
that's okay.
So what else, Lou? What else would we like to share?
Said why women, and Em and I have been reflecting just these last couple of days about the next one, and more than ever, we've really come back to it's so important to us to travel with women, because we had 11 women and there was some mother-daughter groups, which was just beautiful. We had 3 mother-daughter groups, so beautiful maidens in their 20s, and then the other women. So there was, a lot of people didn't know each other. But when you are plonked in India and having to work through the contrasts of India and all the all these rigid time, our rigidness with time, and we're all doing it together. And it didn't take long for the connection to start happening. And I think I'm sure, I just think with women, we really focus on that sisterhood and supporting each other in our transformation that happens in India.
And also we guided, our retreats, yes, are seeing the sights, sounds and sensations of India, but we also did a couple of personal development workshops too, which really just gets you to reflect and take a moment. And because India's already almost like open Pandora's box, it gives you a little chance then just to sit in your own, and I think the word is definitely rigidness, to then just open your mind and your heart. And, my saying this is this retreat has been, it's really great to get out of your own postcode. And I mean that literally out of you, but I also mean it metaphorically.
Yeah.
We all have this mindset or maybe this sheltered thought, and we do stay in our own postcode or our own little, so it's great. Even meeting other women, and this was said more than once on this retreat, I've actually made some new lifelong friends.
Yeah, and because you're going through such intense moments together. And I think India undoes you. It's a great undoing.
Yeah, yeah. It's very freeing, very joyful and very free.
Yeah, and you just find this incredible, like I know we use these words a lot in yoga and it's our intention, but you do get a flow.
Yeah, yeah.
You do get into flow.
The other highlight for me was the ashram. So we visited an ashram, but it was a non-working ashram, so it's actually quite dilapidated. But there's a story about when the Beatles were there in the 60s, and you can see the buildings and there's a little story that you go through that tells you what each building was and what that was like in the 60s. We actually had a local yoga teacher take us through yoga there. And I know for a lot of the women that was one of the biggest highlights. We're in this beautiful grounds where the Beatles were and where an ashram was. And it's, even though it's dilapidated now, it's actually incredibly visually. I walked in and went, wow. When we got to the spot where we were teaching yoga, like the buildings and the architecture and the colours, particularly in Jaipur, the pink city, it is just, your word, opulent. You've got this contrast of incredibly dusty and chaotic place with so much beauty. It's a real awakening of how there is beauty in everything. I think there's been a lot of beauty for me, as well as freedom and transformation, but beauty has been just divine.
You're awestruck.
I'm awestruck. That's been a word.
Many awestruck. Doing yoga. We did plan special things. We did yoga with a view of the Taj Mahal. Like just your mind just goes, wow, oh, look where I am right now and look what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, that moment too, when we first saw the Taj Mahal, that takes your breath away.
Yeah. It was a real pinch me moment for me.
Yeah.
It really is. And you walk in and our guide said to us, it gets, what does he say? It gets
smaller.
It gets smaller.
Yeah, because you see it through the gates and then, it looks overwhelming. And then as you get closer, it does, because you come into its intricate detail and...
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, it was, we had many awe-inspiring moments, and
we certainly did. So I guess our retreats really are bespoke and tailored, and we have just worked on, so we're just off the back of this retreat, we have just sat with our company that we partner here with, and I feel like this retreat has been incredible, but we've now just made some tweaks, and while we've been here, we've actually viewed some places and some other things that we can add in. So next year's retreat is going to be phenomenal. So if you are interested, next year's retreat, the dates are, Louise, tell me.
Well, you put me on your spot.
It's the 6th of March to the 14th-ish, I believe it is. Because
must be about the 16th of March, and we probably should have looked that up before we came on here.
Yeah, but it's March 2025.
Yeah, same to be in line with Holi, because everybody loved celebrating Holi in Rishikesh, which is their celebration of spring. And it's just being in a place that celebrates life and everyone's on the street just celebrating. It's like their New Year equivalent, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a Happy New Year. It was very, very cool. A lot of the women really enjoyed that too.
Yeah, and I think our women too, on their reflection said, I've always wanted to come to India, but I just didn't really have anyone to come with because my husband didn't necessarily want to come. And I also was unsure, like India's a lot. And India would be a lot to take on your own. And I think they just had confidence in travelling. And we're not a massive to a group either. It's where the places we stayed with family, in a family-run small boutique hotel, and it's just a real personal experience. We're not with the crowds, even though, like, we go to Taj Mahal, there's obviously those elements, but the places that we go probably are off the beaten track somewhat.
And particularly in Jaipur, Louise found an incredible textiles store, which had all sorts of things, and that was a real experience for you, wasn't it? The textile store with the women, which was incredible. So there's lots to see and do, and I feel like we are only going to just find even more incredible places as we go along. And for us, we've got our confidence. Like, we know that we are safe and we are well. And the last couple of days, it's just been Louise and I. We are absolutely fine to get ourselves around. And look, I'm not saying, of course, things go down anywhere, but all in all, we have not once felt like we cannot move around. And of course, we did all dress modest, in a modest way.
Yeah.
And that's just respecting the culture. It's just respecting the culture. It's not the done thing to wear, short shorts and a crop top. Just modest and respectful. And it's not anything extreme, like you have to cover your hair and that is also a misconception. We've been told a lot, cover your hair, don't make eye contact with anyone, when the truth is you actually can look at someone and give them a smile.
They're so respectful, so beautiful, beautiful people. I said to Em, when I turned 40, I went to Italy. I've turned 50 and I've come to India, and I always thought Italy's got my heart. I've always connected with Italy. But I said to Em, really now I feel like Italy's one piece of the heart and India's the other. You can't help but let India in. And it's definitely now part of my heart.
You're wholehearted, baby. Wholehearted Retreats. She's got India and Italy in her heart. Yeah, I agree. Sure. India has got a pull. Now, Lou, just to circle back around, because I did want to ask a little bit more about this. So next year when you come, are you going to visit the area that your birth father is connected to?
Yeah, so we're going to come early because we tried to make it happen this time, but just with timing, it was against us. But we're going to come a little bit earlier and make a visit up to Chandigarh and see. We know all these places now. We had no idea when we came, but we've got a little bit of a feeling now. We're not experts, but we kind of know the different places, and we will make a visit there.
So what did your birth father do in Chandigarh? What was his main?
So he started up an orphanage, and went for over a decade, and he's now passed away. But it's moved. So he started it in Orissa, but it's now Chandigarh is where the pastor is. So it's Christian based, because in India they welcome all religions, which has been a really big surprise to me. They're not divided. So it was Christian based, but now it's a sewing school for young girls. So they put them through a 6-month sewing classes, and at the end they give them a sewing machine so they can make an income. So really trying to get out of this cycle in communities, out of the cycle of poverty, and skill them.
Empowering skill.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
And I mean, I guess that was another really lovely thing was when we visited Shiros Cafe. So the cafe in Agra, we went to where they support women who've endured acid attacks. So that was a real big standout for me as well.
Yeah. That was very moving.
Yeah.
Actually, very moving. They had on the wall of the cafe all of the women that work in the cafe and a little bit about their story, and it does bring a tear to your eye. But then you see these women working in the cafe, and you got beautiful, like right now Lou's got beautiful henna on her feet, henna done, and the little arts and crafts that they create. So,
and yeah, because it is quite confronting, because the women are disfigured because they're burnt by acid. So they find it really hard to get employment, and the the beautiful lady who did my henna on my feet, she did such an exceptional, like so clever. Her story was when she was 14, her father passed away. 6 months later, she endured an acid attack. 6 months later, she lost her mother. So at 14, in a short amount of time, she endured this, the loss of her parents, and she was massively injured, disfigured. And, so she found Shiro's Cafe, and now she's got employment and can earn an income. She feels safe.
Yeah. Making a life.
I mean, I think, you talk about acid attacks and, we talk about the safety of India and that sort of thing. So they're trying to really, there's now laws in place. So this was a practice. We learned a lot of practices which were religious things, but back in the day. But I think there's been massive shifts now, particularly around women, with the law is really now supporting women and
Thank goodness. Like I said, it's very progressive. And I'm assuming if you're listening to this and perhaps you visited India 10 years or 20 years ago, it may be different. But right here, right now, how we feel and future running retreats here for women, I feel absolutely confident knowing everyone is well. And we were very cautious this time. We had a representative with us the whole time, which we will continue to do. And we also had another representative, and we had quite a few people in place just to ensure that we were safe and well. And I'm glad we did that. We will continue to do that. But all in all, a very, very exceptional,
incredible experience.
Incredible.
India. It's exactly the best description for it. Incredible India. Yeah. And you must come.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine people not visiting this incredible place.
Yeah. The misconceptions are rampant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a big thing that we as a group, we just said, gosh, everything we expected, it hasn't been like that at all.
No, not at all.
So we just were so surprised, so overwhelmed. Every day we thought, surely it can't be this amazing tomorrow, and it kept being amazing.
Yeah, we kept topping it.
And it was all those little moments. It's always the people, right? It's always your connections with the local people.
The interactions we had. Yeah, tremendous.
So we can't wait now to bring another group of women, and we just feel really confident now. We walk around India and like we know the place now, don't we? We're just getting very familiar.
And I think because we've had a chance to, once the group's left, we've had a chance to look at some more things, and we know that our itinerary, even though our beautiful women have had a wonderful time with us, but we go, oh, there's little tweaks. So we know 2025 March is going to be, our best.
Yeah, our best.
Yeah. So if you are listening and you are curious about India or you'd like to come, we would absolutely love to have you. We'd love to host you. We'd love for you to come on the journey. And our retreats are a little bit of yoga. You don't have to be practicing yoga or be an amazing yogi at all. But if you have an interest in yoga, great. If you love some personal development and transformation, Yogi Loui and I run a few little workshops through the retreat too, just to get you thinking and reflect. And if you love really good food and an incredible experience, come and join us.
Adventure, joy,
belly laughs. If you like a good belly laugh, we had oh my gosh, we could tell 1,000 stories. We had a mini belly laugh. So if you want a bit of fun, adventure, joy, laughter, transformation, yoga, come and join us March 2025. There will be a link in the bottom of the show notes where you can pop your email in and we'll let you know. The dates will be out in the next week. We will have the date and the price, and there'll be a great payment plan. So you don't need to say to me, I can't make that happen, because there will be a payment plan.
Yeah, that's a great option, Em.
Yeah. So that's always helpful. So thank you, my darlings. Thanks for joining this week. And any questions that you have about India, send us an email. We would love to respond. But have a great day. Thanks, Lou.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Wholehearted Retreat, March 2025, India. Yes, that's right. Yogi Loui and I are hosting again next year. India is just too incredible for us not to return and take more of you beautiful women with us. If this intrigues you, if you feel excited or you want to know more, please reach out. The waitlist is growing and we are about to launch all of the details for next year, the dates, the price, the time, what's included, what's not. So if you want to know more information, please reach out. There's an email in the show notes, teamwalkinshaw@gmail.com, or DM me on Instagram and I can answer any of your questions. I look forward to chatting soon.